Justinian, the just emperor. Powerful rulers made Constantinople great, and one of the most powerful rulers of all Byzantium was Justinian, the just emperor. Justinian's parents weren't important people, they were just peasants who lived hundreds of miles away from the great city of Constantinople. They grew crops and tended animals for a living, but Justinian didn't want to be a farmer. He wanted to be a great, educated man. He learned how to read, and he spent every spare minute studying law, music, poetry, and religious books. He begged his family to send him to Constantinople so that he could go to school. Finally, Justinian's parents agreed. They packed his clothes and books. His mother cooked him bread and meat to eat on the journey, and Justinian began the long journey to the city of Constantinople. When he arrived in the city, he was overwhelmed. The building was the biggest he had ever seen. People swarmed everywhere, and his studies were difficult. He had to memorize 50 lines of Greek poetry every day. He had to learn how to make convincing speeches in public. The teachers at the school gave him hours of homework every day in math, music, and astronomy, which is the study of the stars. When he finished school, young Justinian joined the army. He was brave and full of energy, and he spent hours helping the officers keep records, order supplies, and plan their campaigns. Soon, more and more people agreed Justinian would make a good emperor. When the emperor died, Justinian was named ruler of the Byzantine Empire. When Justinian became emperor in the year 527, Byzantium wasn't very big yet, but Justinian decided to change that. He had read many books about the greatness and the glory of the old Roman Empire, and he wanted the empire back. So Justinian recruited more and more men into the army. He set off on campaigns to reconquer the countries that used to belong to Rome: Italy, North Africa, Spain, and the countries all around the shores of the Mediterranean. He even took Rome away from the barbarians who were living there. But the war to recapture Rome destroyed what was left of the old city. Justinian was left with nothing but ruins. Did Justinian recapture all the land that used to belong to Rome? No, but he made the Byzantine Empire bigger than it had ever been before. And now that he ruled all of the different countries, Justinian had a problem. Each country had its own laws. Something that was against the law in one country might be perfectly fine in another country. A thief might be put to death in one part of the empire, but only told to pay a fine in another part. It was very confusing to rule an empire full of different laws. So Justinian set out to make one set of laws for everyone in his empire. It was a huge job. Hundreds of scholars helped him to collect the laws of the ancient Romans and Greeks so that a new law could be written. Finally, the new set of laws, the Code of Justinian, was finished. Everyone in the Byzantine Empire was supposed to follow these rules. Here are some of the laws from the Code of Justinian. The sea and the seashore belong to everyone. Every person in my empire is allowed to go to the beach. No one can tell them, I own this part of the beach. Get off of it. Another law. Rivers belong to everyone. Everyone in my empire can fish in the rivers without being told to stop. Here's one. If you find a jewel or other treasure washed up on the seashore, you can keep it for yourself. You are allowed to own slaves and make them work for you without pay, but you can't beat or mistreat your slaves unless they are disobedient. A thief who steals something valuable must pay the owner 4 times what the stolen object is worth. If you are trimming a tree near a road, be sure to call out to anyone coming by. Be careful! Limbs might fall on you. If you don't call out a warning and a limb falls on a traveler and hurts them, it's your fault. But if you call out a warning and the traveler walks under your tree anyway, it isn't your fault if a limb falls on him and hurts him. He should have paid attention to your warning. When a bishop, priest, or pastor is praying or preaching, he has to speak loudly enough for everyone to hear. If he doesn't, God will punish him, and so will the emperor. Do you think these are fair laws? Would you change any of them?